Good day, fellow geeks. On this week's episode of Geeks of Azeroth, World of Warcraft has been inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame, Hellfire Citadel bosses have been revealed, and a new Heroes of the Storm WoW pet. All that and more on this week's episode of Geeks of Azeroth. By geeks.
About geeks.
For geeks.
Welcome to Geeks of Azeroth!
Hello. Welcome to the show. My name's Tarley, and with me, as always, I've got Zool and Britzza. How's it going, guys?
It's going very well, thank you. Very good.
It's going good.
Good. What's new in Azeroth?
The awkward pause as we decide which one of us is going to go first.
Let's go,
Well, it's
Britzza.
usually me, so yeah, Britzza.
Mine's going to be very short and sweet. As I may or may not have mentioned, I recently moved to the wonderful city of Birmingham, where all the fine meats of the world are stored. And as usual, when you move, I think, Tyler, you experienced this when you recently moved, you don't have internet.
Right, it's not horrible.
Yeah, it's awful. And I've said it time and time again, it's not worth
It's like
living.
going back to the Stone Age.
Worse, life might as well have not existed. What
am I doing?
I'm very surprised that our ancestors actually just kept the human race going without the internet.
Must make fire.
Must make fiber internet cable. But yeah, so my internet was due to be connected on Wednesday when I thought I'd have a perfect time to catch up on loads of raids and things as the cycle ticks over. Heroes of the Storm was coming out. I thought it was going to be great, and lo and behold, it still is not working. So my WoW time has literally been restricted to the last 4 hours, which I've done not a lot. I've sent some people on garrison missions and ran Ice Crown Citadel. Still trying to go for that mount. But otherwise, I am now trying to get into Heroes of the Storm. So I'm looking forward to that. But otherwise, really quiet and tragic.
What about you, Zool? How was your week?
I've actually played quite a bit of WoW.
Thank God.
I know, right? We were getting ready to kick you off the show, and then ourselves.
No!
And I actually spent time doing, like, endgame stuff, playing my paladin. But
Right.
I did something with my paladin.
Uh-oh.
So...
Is this breaking terms
did
and
a
conditions
race
sort of
change.
stuff?
Your race changed?
Yes.
You're not a... Wait, what was your paladin? You're not a bull?
No.
Oh, no.
I'm a freaking belf now. And I'm disappointed in myself, but I needed something to sort of, like, reinvigorate my desire to play the character, and changing a character up always does that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the wonderful world of Belfs.
Because, you know, it's like, that's why I make alts so much, is I always want to try something different. So if I want to focus on an endgame character, doing something like that will oftentimes get me to be able to do it. And I, you know, we have, like, the undelete character function now for characters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a level 75 Tauren monk, like, way back when, that I had deleted. And I was kind of wanting to undelete him, and he had the same name as my paladin. And so, I guess it lets you do the name change now, but it used to not. It would just say, sorry, you have to change the name of your other character if you want to undelete him. But, so that was another reason, is with the race change, you can also change the name. And so I was able to bring back my monk as well.
Oh.
But anyway, so I race changed my paladin, who's now a freaking belf. And that does actually work better for selfies. And
Yeah.
I don't have that whole hunched over thing that all the rest of the male horde races have. I was getting kind of tired of it. The whole hunched back thing going on that they all do. I really want them to eventually straighten the trolls up, like the
Like, Vol'jin?
like the trolls we fought on Thunder Isle and things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyways, so
And there's that Belf booty. I mean, come on.
That should be a hashtag.
Hashtag Belf Booty.
Hashtag Belf Booty. All right. I'll have to take a picture and hashtag that as part of it. But, first thing I did was I went in and started working through my legendary quest line.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of that, I of course had to run heroic dungeons and stuff, so I got some gear, which bumped me over the eye level of being able to actually do some LFR.
Yay! The fun
So
really
I finished
begins.
up Act 1 of the legendary quest line, or Chapter 1, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called. And then I have to do LFR anyways. And so I've done a little bit of LFR, not a whole lot. The main thing I was doing was dungeons and working on the legendary quest line. But so yeah, I'm actually kind of moving along and making the progress people made like 8 months ago.
No, I'm still right along that same path. See, I myself, I have started working on my overall conquest to have 1,100 characters. So
1,100
that's,
characters.
No, 11 level 100 characters. Not 1,100 characters.
What?
So working on that, leveling mage and rogue and paladin all at the same time, it's fun. Really fun. Also, I've spent so much time in StarCraft lately. Just fun game.
How many...
If you haven't played StarCraft competitively, you should.
I tried to get into it because James, who used to host the Epic Geeks podcast, was a big StarCraft player. And I didn't gel with it. I'm not good at StarCraft.
I don't play much of anything competitively, so...
How many level 100s have you got at the moment then, Tarley?
5.
5. So 6 to go. Which classes are you working on? You said mage, pally...
Yeah, mage, pally, and rogue right now.
And what are the other 3 that you haven't got?
The other 3 I don't have is my warlock. What are the other classes? Warlock. What is that one class? Warrior.
Yep.
And priest.
Warrior and priest. I'm just wondering between us, not only do we probably need to get something up to try and track your progress, but I'm just wondering, do we between us have every class to level 100? I think not everyone, but I know I can cover pally, and no, I can't do
See,
warlock.
Pally's the only 100 I have.
No, we need to...
I have a druid that's really close, and a priest that's in Draenor. But otherwise, everything else is pretty far away.
I have 400s, not 5. I miscounted.
Oh.
I'm like, wait. Okay. Yeah.
We'll get something up then. Let's get something up on the Epic Geeks website and track Tarley's terrific challenge.
Tarley's terrific challenge. I accept that terrific challenge. Okay. So, moving into the first part of the show. Everyone's ready. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
It's time for News of the Week.
Hey, we recording? Yeah? Okay.
News of the Week. That's right. It's time for News of the Week. And this week, some actually pretty big news to come out of just video games in general. World of Warcraft has been inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame.
Woo.
Woo! I didn't know that was a thing.
Neither did I. I think it's actually a relatively new thing.
Yeah, because it says it's part of the first group that's all being inducted. And it's a pretty solid group. I'd say I'd agree with their choices.
Yeah, and Blizzard did tweet out themselves on the World of Warcraft Twitter that they were honored to be a part of this opening induction, and that really is awesome. World of Warcraft is one of the first to be inducted.
Yeah. So those that it was inducted along with Pong, Pac-Man, Tetris, Super Mario Brothers, and Doom. Yeah. And all of those are usually considered like turning points in game design. Kind of started different segments of gaming. Pong was like, one of the first games made. Mm-hmm. And then, Pac-Man was, the big arcade thing.
I think it is fair to say World of Warcraft belongs there with those other ones.
Yeah, exactly. And then Tetris, Super Mario Brothers kind of launched Nintendo into the limelight, and right when everyone thought video games was dying back then, and it kind of brought everything back around, and Doom really showed that you could work with 3 dimensions, even though the graphics weren't three-dimensional, it worked in 3 dimensions, and the whole first-person shooter thing.
So World of Warcraft fits right in there. It changed the whole genre completely.
Yeah, it fits right in. Like, they all have... I think that's a really solid selection that shows kind of the history of turning points.
Bro. Solid.
It's a bit of a bittersweet one, though, because just looking at the actual official World Video Game Hall of Fame website, they talk about how WoW has really helped it's really helped people build relationships who haven't necessarily been comfortable or able to do it physically, so to speak. But in their sort of closing paragraph where they sum up the reasons they thought WoW was such a great game, they do mention, as of February 2015, the game boasted more than 10 million subscribers, only slightly reduced from its peak of 12 million. So, yeah, might have jumped the gun a bit. Not in the sense that WoW's not deserving the place, but certainly it's it could still be losing some ground. But still, also absolutely awesome to get in there.
Yeah. But man, looking at these, the first 6 here, makes me feel kind of old because I was around to play 4 of those right at launch. You know,
I've played Doom.
I was old enough, I just didn't.
I did. I mean, I was very young for a couple of those, and 2 of them...
I was around for Pong. Come on.
Yeah, right? No, not Pong or Pac-Man, but I remember playing Mario Brothers when the NES first came out. I remember playing Doom at my friend's house when it first came out. I was never a big Tetris fan, but I was around.
I wanted to play Warcraft when it first came out, but you know.
Yeah, and I played the beta for Warcraft.
Tetris, still more content than patch 6.1.
Well, we can't argue with that.
Sorry, I've got a bit of a mean streak going.
I think you could argue that, actually.
I think, going back to what you're saying, Zul, the fact that there's such iconic games there, and I think really they're all genre defining. Nothing else has affected, or nothing else built the MMO market like WoW did. And I think certainly, like going back to the official website, the fact that this game can still charge people for a subscription, given the free to play market. It's not really about the numbers of subscribers. It's the fact that they can still get people to pay monthly for this game.
Yeah, I mean the last couple MMOs that have like big titles that have launched with subs are either free to play or have announced they're going free to play at this point.
Yeah,
I think the only one that
I was just going to ask, are there any others that are still only sub-based? Well, I can think of one right now, I guess.
WildStar is sub-based still, but it's
announced that it's going free to play, though.
Yeah.
So I'm counting that as...
and there's like Tor that, has both, that you can subscribe or not. It's a weird model.
Final Fantasy Online.
That's how most free-to-play are like that. Like, there is a sub version that gets you the, whatever their currency is and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Final Fantasy Online is the only one that I've seen
that's only sub still.
But then again, that's had a real bumpy background.
Well, it's doing great now. After they did their relaunch, it is very well done.
I've just seen it on the shelf, and it'd be a discussion for a later show. But I think probably that's the next big challenger for WoW. I think if anything can knock WoW off, it's going to be Final Fantasy, because that franchise is probably just. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if an FF game made it into the Hall of Fame later. FF7.
Yeah. I'd say it has to at some point. Something from the franchise.
I don't know if it'd be one of their MMOs.
Yeah.
It won't be online. Yeah.
All right, so moving on. Anything else on the Hall of Fame?
No. Congrats.
All right. So we've already talked about this a little bit in the past, but Blizzard has gone ahead and put a full article on the World of Warcraft blog talking about all the new bosses in Hellfire Citadel. And, it's we did have that discussion previously of Grom's not here, but I don't know. This is a pretty cool preview. It shows you, images of each boss, and I'm really excited. This raid looks so demon-like.
Yeah,
and
seriously.
It's going to be really cool.
There's some cool stuff in here.
Britzza, you want to tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, well, I think you perfectly summed it up. It's effectively Blizzard's provided details on all 13 bosses. I don't know if all info on all 13 was available through the PTR, but certainly now we've got the full lineup. And as we discussed, typically we know that Manroth and Archimons are going to be at the sort of back end of the content, kicking off with the usual starts. The interesting thing is the Hellfire Assault, which isn't a boss as you traditionally expect. It's a wave of sort of Iron Horde. So that I think that's a nice little swap up, to be honest, in terms of encounters. To start up on something fresh. But otherwise, there's some familiar faces. You've got the Iron Reaver that a lot of people have talked about. Kilrog's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in. Again, I presume this is the order that they're going to be encountered in. Other than that, I think a couple of them will be relatively fresh faces. Some of them probably have a big background in lore, but I haven't seen them. Socrathar's there, admittedly. But yeah, no, it's looking like a great lineup. And again, I know a lot of people have talked about sort of the visuals of Hellfire Citadel and how it is very green. It's very Kermit. But
it isn't easy.
It's
Pops
not.
out of one of Manaroth's pools. One of the pits of Manaroth. He's like, woo!
He is the Ruby Sanctum boss. But yeah, no, it's looking great. And to be honest, it can't be that far off now, 6.2. So this...
I predicted last week that it would come out this Tuesday, so this week I predict it's coming this Tuesday.
So do you guys have like a couple favorite bosses you're seeing that you really want to see?
I really want to fight Archimons.
Yeah.
You know, it pulls you... If I'm reading it correctly, the entire fight actually is in the Twisting Nether. Which is cool. But I'm just excited, like... I think I might actually start raiding again, like beyond LFR raiding this patch, which is awesome.
Do you know what I think? I think the next expansion may not see us go back to Azeroth. I think it might take us to a larger fight with the Burning Legion now. I just think starting it off with Archimons, that's going to be the springboard into, let's jump through the next portal and see what goes on.
So have you... Actually, that brings up an interesting point. Have you read the latest tinfoil hat edition of Know Your Lore on Blizzard Watch?
No.
So they're talking about it. They kind of jump off of what's Rathian doing right now, like what's he up to, and they're actually They talk about kind of what is going on with Draenor, and kind of to try to sum it up. It was actually a really long one, but it's a really good one. The Burning Legion is going to come to Draenor, period. I mean, they're starting to, obviously, Archimon's here. But, there's gonna be a full-on invasion in this version of Draenor. That's what happens. Draenor gets destroyed by the Burning Legion. And so, the Tinfoil Hat Edition said, we're gonna lose here on Draenor. The Burning Legion is gonna show up and we're gonna lose, and we're gonna have to retreat. But, we're gonna have this massive... new army of orcs, because not all of them joined, with the Iron Horde or the Fell Iron Horde. And you're also going to have this massive army of Draenei, because there's way more Draenei here than we have on our Azeroth, because this is before they were all slaughtered. And those two groups aren't going to have anywhere else to go besides come back to our Azeroth with us retreating from the Burning Legion. And those two groups are then not going to have any direct ties to the Horde or Alliance. Obviously, they're going to lean towards the ones where their particular race is, but they aren't directly tied to them. And the only thing they're really going to care about is revenge on the Burning Legion. So, it could lead to another Burning Legion expansion with a much stronger alliance because of these two groups being the bridge between the two sides.
So how does that play...
As we run away from Draenor with our tails between our legs.
As we intended. Like all good expansions, we cause a huge mess and then we run away.
Yep.
How does that play into Rathian's plans then? Because obviously playing off the legendary quest, where...
Because, way back in Mists of Pandaria, Rathian, his whole point was he wanted either the Horde or the Alliance to finally win, so we'd have one connected army. And he kind of realized that's not going to happen. And so, by getting us here and getting all this started, we get the whole new groups of Draenei and orcs from this Draenor that would come back with us and sort of help solidify, or at least they would be focused on one thing and one thing only, the Burning Legion. They wouldn't care about our petty squabbles back on Azeroth because they don't have any connection to the planet and anything. with the hopes that they would form the bridge between the two sides and get everyone to focus on what Rathian sees as what's really important.
Just stick him in Outland. Stick him in Outland. That's empty.
That whole theory is great and all, but really what's going to happen is Wrath of the Lich King 2.
Just forget about everything that happened here, and let's go do that.
We're going to go back to Northrend and kill Bulwark. That's what it's going to be.
That would
otherwise,
be amazing.
it's the exact same. It's just he's the Lich King in this instance.
Yep.
It's the exact same.
Ulduar 2.
Same quests, same
We'll call it Zulduar.
characters.
I think that would be a great expansion. We go off, we really annoy Bolvar, he sends the Scourge down, and then we can just, as the Burning Legion's trying to pile through one side of the portal, we send the Scourge and this big army of Orcs and Draenei through the other side, and it can just be a scrum. And that's the expansion. It's just 10 months of constant waves. No quests, no encounters, no raids. You just kill 1 million Orcs and you win, or 1 million demons. Sounds like fun content. But I guess going back to Hellfire Citadel and
we got really off topic there.
Going back to the actual discussion. Obviously, we're now playing on the idea that, and again, this is probably going to be discussed in the Q&A, which we'll talk about in a second. But the sort of general consensus is that Grom's now going to be the helpful guy in this instance. So, if that's the case, when do we think that's going to start kicking in? Is it going to be just for that final fight? Or is he going to start helping us with Manaroth? I mean, presumably, Tyrant Valari is going to be the... well, actually, no, sorry, I'm trying to think how these are going to be broken down into tiers. Is Archimonde going to be on his own?
I don't think he's actually going to help. I mean, a lot of people support that theory, but I don't think that's what's actually going to happen.
No?
I just don't see it. Maybe that's just me.
I
I think we'll still end up fighting him. I think that's what 6.3 is going to be.
Fair enough.
That's just my prediction.
What about you, Zul? How do you think it's all going to play out?
Yeah, I mean, they've said that he's supposed to be the end expansion boss, so I don't think he's really going to help us out too much, because we can't start seeing him as an ally if we have to go back and fight him all of a sudden.
It feels similar to like Mists of Pandaria, when we already knew going into the expansion Garrosh was going to be the final boss, and all throughout the expansion we're like, how is this going to happen? Like what's going to cause this? And then boom, Garrosh blows up the the
and then boom, Garrosh is a jerk.
Yes. So I feel like something big will happen, story wise. We'll get some plot points with the legendary quest line and all that.
While we're off dealing with Hellfire Citadel, Grom is going to be off somewhere.
Building Grommy Sanctum.
Yes. Building up his little place that we're going to be like, oh man, it's a good thing we dealt with all that crap and, Archimonde and stuff. Ah, seriously, Grom? Seriously? Really?
Not cool.
We just
Grom's
saved your planet from the Burning Legion.
Grom's going to hop through the portal, and he's going to go to Pandaria, where he will meet the Shah, and then
he's going to get corrupted and go siege Orgrimmar.
Yep. Siege of Orgrimmar 2, and it'll last 1.5 years.
No, they'll change it up a bit. It'll be Stormwind this time.
Siege of Stormwind.
And it's great because they've already got a lot of that content from that heroic encounter.
There you go. This is Stormwind covered in infested with Shah. I would love to see that.
I won't.
All right. So moving on from, talking about the bosses of Hellfire to that extremely off-tangent thing. Heroes of the Storm. Pet. Wow. Much pet.
Much pet.
Such wow. But yeah, so if you get to level, what is it, 30? 20 in Heroes of the Storm, you get to unlock a nice little pet for yourself in World of Warcraft. And if you get to level 100 in World of Warcraft, you get yourself a nice little mount in Heroes of the Storm. It's a fair trade-off, I think.
I'll see how that works.
Get to work then.
No, it's pretty cool. We're not doing a video, so I can't really put anything up on the screen this episode, but it's really cool. It's the if you haven't played Heroes of the Storm, there's this one jungle area where you summon these things. I can't remember what they're called, but they have like 3 skulls and they march down and kill everybody. Well, you get that as a pet in World of Warcraft, and it's quite adorable because it doesn't look as menacing.
It doesn't look as, oh crap, I'm gonna die.
Now, someone on the comments there had a great idea. I think it's perfect. The more people you kill in PvP, it should get bigger, like it does in Heroes of the Storm.
That would be pretty awesome.
I'll have that.
What do you guys think? I mean, is this a pet you're going to go for now that Heroes of the Storm is out?
I mean, I don't know if I'll actively just be like, I must hit this level, but I enjoy Here's the Storm. It's pretty fun. And so I'm sure I'll hit it eventually, and it's nice to have that little perk when I do.
It's nice just to see as well some cross-getting content. I know we've talked about it in the past.
That's what I was going to say next.
Yeah. It's just one of those things now. Now Heroes is out, we'd expect to see it. And I imagine we'd all expect to see it with Overwatch as well. When that comes
I really
out.
want some... I want to see some Warcraft stuff in Overwatch. I think that'd be awesome.
I'm not sure how it's going to work the other way round.
Well, they already confirmed they're bringing some of the Overwatch characters to Heroes of the Storm, which isn't surprising.
Oh,
Well, I
of
mean,
course, yeah.
They could do character skins that make them look like characters from the other games.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool.
That would be cool, yeah, definitely.
You know, turn that robot monk into a fat panda monk.
That would be great, actually.
The archer could be, like, Tyrande or something.
Yeah, that would be great.
Just trying to think of it in my head. I got lost in my own little bubble of thought there. But yeah, no. Also, I guess the fun thing as well is that I imagine it's not going to be such a big issue, but it might help get people into. Well, it's certainly going to help people get into Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
But you know, you never know. It might also help people try out WoW again once 6.2. It's not going to be a driving force, but it might grease the wheels a little bit, if you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I think it's great. Personally, though, I would like to see a few more mounts and things like that rather than pets. Not that pets aren't useful, but I think mounts have a much bigger impact on the game than pets do. Unless it's just me. But if they said, listen, if you play Heroes of the Storm and you get to level 30, and you get a mount, then I would be up day and night getting to level 30. Now, whether that Blizzard want me just playing for that mount, I don't know. But, you know, I think it's certainly going to drive it a little bit more. Whereas the pet, yeah, I'll get it if I get it. But like you said, Saul, it's not something I'm going to, you know, drink 10 cans of Red Bull for.
I do that just for its own benefit.
Yeah, it keeps the blood moving, just about. But Tarley, you've played a lot of Heroes of the Storm, haven't you?
Yeah.
Is there anything else in the game that you would like to see brought over to WoW in pet form or mount form or whatever form?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, because that golem thing actually fits perfectly. I can't really think of anything else that would work because a lot of it's already based on stuff that's in WoW already. So, you know, I think that was a pretty good example. I can't really think of anything else that would come over well, but I'd like to see more Warcrafty stuff in that game, though.
I think that you're right. The only thing you could bring over is if you somehow managed to translate the skins in Heroes to transmog items in WoW.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like I mean, some of the gear or just sets like for Arthas or Jaina is very like Warcraft 3 style, which would be cool to see brought over to World of Warcraft as transmog. That's a cool idea.
And how about let me wear my legendary cloak in Heroes? That'd be fun.
Yes,
because that thing's just sitting in a bank right now. In fact, it's supposed to be used to fight off the burning.
So hard for it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be useful in this expansion. So yeah, I better go find it. Said every
now
hero.
I don't feel so bad about never getting one.
Well, you're just letting the team down, Zor. I suggest you go back and get it. If you could. If you. Fair point.
All right, and now that we've officially insulted Zool, moving on to the discussion of the week.
And then he swooped down from above. I tell ya, you should have seen the size of those wings. I swear, Borondax could hardly cut through a gnome. What's a Drenna anyhow? Can I drink it?
Discussion of the week.
That's right. This week's discussion is going to be a WoW Q&A session that has not happened yet.
Yep.
It's actually probably happening right now.
It's it's 2 p.m. Pacific time, so it's 4 hours from now.
4 hours from now.
So not right now.
Not right now. Almost now.
You know what, guys? I have a bad feeling about this Q&A.
I think Blizzard
so,
has a
Mr.
bad
Solo?
feeling.
I feel like Hazakostas is going to be torn apart during this Q&A. Unless, Lore does a good job of
Ignoring the
weeding
comments.
Yes.
Yeah. It'll be, hopefully they just, like, straight up, before they even start answering questions, just say, we know these are going to be some major topics, so here's our stance on them. Just, like, just right from the get-go.
They have to know at this point that this has not been a good standing expansion with the common folk.
Yeah.
No. I guess that brings up the discussion of what do we think is going to be asked, as a top 5 questions that we think are going to be brought up.
Why did you ruin my class?
Yep, always.
I mean, I think they may ask about class simplicity if they plan to make classes more complex again. That could come up. Classes are a bit 3-buttony now.
I obviously flying is going to come up at some point.
Yes, definitely.
Every other question.
Yeah, I guess the content speed, maybe. I mean, to be honest, I think the major 3 are going to be those. It's going to be questions about class simplicity and just general tunings of classes.
Balance, like class balance.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might ask about PvP, but that's definitely not Hazakostas' forte.
No, but yeah, they should ask about it really, because PvP's been such a crucial element of this expansion, or it's been sold as such a crucial element, and so I think some people will certainly feel that it hasn't lived up to expectation in some respects. But other than that, is there anything else that we can think of that?
Probably, I mean, they'll ask about next expansion, what's the development cycle? Are we going to be stuck in this expansion for, with no content for a year again?
Yeah.
Are we going to see it at BlizzCon?
Yeah. What's BlizzCon going to hold? How many more patches for this expansion are we going to have?
I mean, also, Ian Hazakostas is probably... do you guys remember him speaking at, like, the last BlizzCon or events like that? He's one of these people where if you haven't ever heard him give a discussion or something like that, really do try just check it, or rather watch this in 4 hours time, because he's someone where I think if anyone can sell it well, it's going to be him.
He loves the game.
He loves the game, and he's actually probably, in my opinion, the best person in Blizzard to actually sit down and actually reason out or give out the reasons of why they considered, say, taking out flying, and he'll actually explain it. And I think, to be honest, they've probably got their strongest player on the field in terms of discussing this. But like you say, the community's not going to be very kind to him.
Right.
Whether that's fair or not, I don't know, because it's going to be a tough one. That's all you can say, really, isn't it? It's just going to be Blizzard versus the community round 1.
At the same time, though, how often do you see game developers just go out and talk to their community like this, though? And Blizzard does it all the time.
Yeah.
No matter what the state of the game is, it's really good that developers are listening to their community, willing to talk to their community, instead of just like, nope, this is our game. We do what we want.
I think, as well, Blizzard, it's not just a Q&A that they bring up here. They are generally taking feedback across the board. And they do want to hear reasons why people aren't happy with certain feature changes. And I think this is the problem perhaps with this Q&A, is that it is going to be taken over perhaps by venting. And I really hope that people can not only ask questions, but also provide suggestions that Blizzard can hear. Because I want that voice to come through. I don't want it to be like you say, why have you ruined my class? Why is everything a one-button rotation? And you've ruined raiding for me. Ask the question and then say, perhaps have you considered doing it this way, and this is why. So it's a real chance, like you say, with us to sit down with the developers and actually discuss this game and where it's going in light of some very big news surrounding subscribers and just general concerns about future content. So that's what I'd love it to be, but whether it's just going to be open all guns and blow the devs to pieces, I'm not sure. It's going to be entertaining. Certainly a popcorn moment.
Yeah. I just hope we get some good info, as Tarley was saying about, more patches and what's the timeline looking like for those patches and for the next expansion. Honestly, that's what I care most about, is content. Keep it coming at a steady pace.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Tarley? What's the important things for you?
Just like that. I want to know. I want to know more about PvP. I want to know what they plan to fix about that. But I don't think will be a major topic of this one. But yeah, I want to just make sure. I want to be reassured that we're not going to be in Warlords of Draenor for too long without new content. Show us something at BlizzCon, and I'll be happy.
I would love to see what they're intending to do with Azeroth as a world. I mean, that we've got 4 continents in Azeroth and 2 extra worlds on top of that, both of which are alternate versions of Draenor. So I want to see whether we're looking to, and part of this comes off a sort of lore point that if you look at the sort of in-game globes, I know it's a really weird thing to discuss, but in-game, if you look at globes of the world, the continents that Azeroth exists on is only 1/2. So theoretically, there could be another continent or continents on the other side. So I just wonder whether we're going to start filling up Azeroth as a planet, or whether we're going to keep going towards the world building style of things, of segmenting off expansions. But on top of that, I want to know why.
I've heard my theory about the South Seas by now. So
Yeah.
Other than that, they've ruined flying.
yeah, it's good or bad. Who knows? I don't even want to get into that topic again.
It's interesting, actually. CTR, on CTR, Darius pointed out that they've changed some of the videos surrounding the flying Runesaber mount? And how it's actually flying through Outland now and not Draenor. So they've had to do a big PR switch around for that one.
Yeah.
Or bad.
I guess as well, the other interesting thing would be, how does WoW's development fit in with Blizzard's development cycles in general? Because
there's a lot changing right now too.
Yeah, and they've got their hands in a lot more pies. They've now hit the MOBA market. They're about to hit the sort of first-person arena market. So,
StarCraft 2 is now done once Legacy of the Void comes out. So it's like you've got a lot of things up in the air at Blizzard. So I wonder what... Yeah, it's interesting.
Exactly. And are they planning... Obviously, the last expansion, we heard in hindsight about how the content delays were caused by the fact they were training up this super team of developers to handle new
content. And now everybody's like, what is this team of developers doing?
Yeah, exactly. Have we sacked them? But more importantly, how are they being deployed? Is Blizzard going to need to do more of that to get content out even faster? If so, is that going to cause more delays as they train them up? So, there's a load of, questions you could just throw out there, more business related than game related, but have an impact on the game. So, yeah, there's certainly a lot to ask, but yeah, it could all come back down to flying and content or anything else. But on another note, do you think that it's fair that all this criticism that, and I don't mean to get into like some of the individual topics, but the general backlash that Blizzard's had, having to put up with the subscriber loss, having to put up with the backlash on flying and the content delays and things like that. Do you think Blizzard generally is getting a bad deal at the moment? Is it a bit unfair, considering the fact that they are trying to run a business and develop all these games?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's unfair. Yes, they've been under a lot of fire, but I shouldn't talk because I have a lot of aggression towards this expansion, I guess, or bad words to say about it.
It wasn't your favourite?
No. Least favorite.
What about you, Zul?
I don't know. I mean, every company should be looked at, critically. You can't just blindly praise a company. Mm-hmm. I think Blizzard is doing a pretty good job. And, I mean, obviously they're not maliciously trying to make decisions to spite people, which is how a lot of people seem to react. Like, oh, they're just doing this to...
They hate warriors.
Exactly. Like, they don't do that. And yes, they do have to make money, but every decision they make isn't just about making the most money they can. They do have to make money, yes, but they genuinely like the games they make and want to please their customers. As much as some people want to claim they don't and that they hate everybody, they wouldn't still be around and be as successful as they are if they didn't. But at the same time, I think people overreact about stuff. Like, I definitely get people being upset about no flight and wanting more communication about it, and there should be more communication about it and all this kind of stuff. But people saying, like, if I can't fly, I'm not gonna sub, like that whole hashtag no fly, no sub, I'm like, really? Not being able to fly is gonna be why you quit this game? There's a lot more to the game than just flying. I mean, if the rest of the game is still fun, why is that? I don't know. I think some people are going a little overboard.
Maybe there just hasn't been an ace combat game in such a while. They've just been turning to WoW. But that's it. And at the end of the day, the army of internet trolls are going to be unleashed. It's very much the sort of Minas Tirith moment, probably of the expansion. But yeah, that's me done.
Find out.
Look to the east, Blizzard. On the 5th day, look to the east. And there shall be heroes.
All right. Well, anything else on this discussion topic before we move into the next segment of the show?
Nope.
All right. So it's time for the Prince's Gaze.
Welcome back, hero of the Alliance. How fares the battle along the coast? Suffering from amnesia, he fought for his life in Horde arenas. Let us see if your Alliance has what it takes to rule Azeroth. Your Horde finds itself at a turning point. This war will define you.
The Prince's Gaze.
Tom, fetch my things.
That's right, it's time for the Prince's Gaze, where we gaze out into the community, find something we like, take it for ourselves, and claim it as our own.
Wait, that's what we do?
Yes, and this week, what WoW would look like if it came out today. This is an article that we wrote. Just kidding.
We're just going to claim the internet eventually.
Yes, this is... This is an article on Time, actually, and I wish I could play the video for you all because it is incredible. But it shows World of Warcraft's Alwyn Forest in the Unreal Engine 4. Man, I really wish this was the current state of WoW.
Seriously, it looks so good.
It's incredible.
I'll
put a link in the notes.
Yes, definitely check that out. It is absolutely incredible.
I can't believe that they... who was it who put this together? It was Daniel Luchau. It's just... It's Witcher 3 in WoW, effectively.
Basically. I mean, it really makes me want Blizzard to make a Warcraft game like this. You know, it would be amazing.
This is what the... when they finally get around to expansion 2024, this is what the game might look like.
I mean, but if World of Warcraft, that's just an interesting idea. If World of Warcraft was released today, what would it be like? As opposed to, 10 years ago.
To be honest, in all fairness, I don't think it would be that good still. I mean, not to sort of dampen the parade, but that's a very niche area of WoW, and I think running a game like that, I mean, particularly, you wouldn't get people like me playing on our Macs and whatnot. I mean, geez. So you kill. Well, I'm probably the only person playing on a Mac, admittedly, so you get rid of me. Which, for better or for worse. But I don't know. Is there anything, though, out there, MMO-wise, that has graphics of that level?
Well, there's one in Japan I can't remember the name of, but, I mean, nothing mainstream at this level, no. I mean, I guess Destiny. You could consider Destiny an MMO that has really good graphics for an MMO.
I'd agree with that.
But other than that, I still think WoW looks the best out of the current MMOs, so...
You'd hope so, given all the recent upgrades. But yeah, at the same time, if anything, it shows that there is a 100% perfect version of WoW, but it brings up the good point, which is that WoW is still doing pretty well graphically for what it is as an MMO. They're not console games. They're something else altogether, something different altogether. So yeah, it brings up the good point that WoW's been doing quite well graphic wise. I mean, the thing that I thought when I watched this was, can you imagine if we were still back on like the old character models and the old graphic styles? I mean, my God.
I completely forgot that you can actually turn off the new character model. So I did that when I was amongst like a group of like all the races. And I'm just like,
what's happening?
Burn them all, burn them.
Oh, my eyes.
But I mean, that's just a cool video, though. I mean, it does show like what the potential could be for graphics and stuff for this game. But I mean, I like where it is, and I agree. If WoW were to come out now, it just wouldn't be as popular as it, it being the 10-year-old game that it is now.
Mm-hmm.
It would certainly be a big initial pull. I mean, if it had that sort of level of graphics, but at the same time, I think how can I put it? It would look cool for like the first 3 weeks, and then it would look like everything else. And that's the thing. Exactly. And then people would go back to complaining about content and all the things that actually make a game. So
Games aren't only about eye candy.
Yeah. What?
What?
Well, but it's an amazing piece of work. I'd love to see some other areas done on the Unreal Engine. I mean, I don't know if you could try and do any sort of more recent content. Like, I'd love to see what Draenor could look like on the Unreal Engine.
Yeah, come on, buddy, get on that.
Yeah, I mean, come on, 5 minutes. How long does it take? Just run it through quick.
It's easy. Everyone can do it.
Yeah.
Or like Ice Crown. Can you imagine if you just did a quick 2-minute video on Ice Crown as or like, if anyone does it for that matter? That'd be incredible to watch, or to see what some of the mobs look like. Because it's only your landscape, isn't it, in the video? So I wonder what the character models would look like. What would a top graphic Lich King look like?
Well, we could just watch the Warcraft movie for that.
Yes, fair enough.
What if the game looked like the Warcraft movie?
I don't think anybody's high-end computer could even run it.
But what if they could? What if it was real?
Then I would never play any other game. I would put on my Oculus Rift and just sit in Warcraft forever.
But that wouldn't be World of Warcraft. That would be the PS4 and Xbox One Warcraft movie release game that they made.
Warcraft the movie,
I have
the game.
been dying. I have been dying for like a Skyrim-esque like RPG set in the Warcraft setting. I think that'd be awesome.
Right? Oh my gosh, that would be.
Yeah. Blizzard, please.
We want an epic single-player RPG experience in the Warcraft universe.
Yes. Or at least in one of their universes. I think they could do it quite well. I mean,
In
Diablo
any of
has
them.
such a really good storyline. I mean,
Any other universes could do a epic single-player RPG. I mean, imagine a Mass Effect style StarCraft game.
yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Well, they had that in the works, didn't
Ghost.
they? Yeah, Ghost. Admittedly, something more Mass Effect would be amazing, but at the same time, let's I say let's just do it. I mean,
Let's do it right now. Come on.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that'd be great. I'd love to see that, particularly as you sort of, try to make, StarCraft's going to, like you say, Tarley's going to move on. Now the trilogy's effectively closed. So the question is it going to stay an RTS game, or is it going to move into something else altogether?
World of StarCraft.
World of StarCraft. Which, admittedly, and I will get onto this in another episode, I think would be a brilliant move for Blizzard. But that's another show.
All right. Well, definitely thank you to whoever made that video again. What was his name?
I will quickly find out in a couple of seconds. No, I won't. Yes, I will. Maybe. Here we go. It was Daniel Lu Chao.
Well, thank you, Mr. Lu Chao, for providing us with that video. It's a good glimpse of what WoW could be, or what Warcraft could be, if it ever evolved. All right, so moving to the final segment of the show, unless anyone has anything else to say about if WoW was released today. No?
No?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Heroes Call.
Heroes Call!
That's right. This is where we give shout-outs to anyone we feel like shouting out to. And, well, we have some news from Convert to Raid, actually, and we'd like to give a shout-out to Coltrane.
Yeah.
Coltrane is leaving. Forever.
It's sad.
This is a sad day.
He has a good reason, I guess, for leaving. He said he wanted they've been doing it for 4 years. And, I mean, that's an incredible
It doesn't
amount of
matter.
time.
Didn't he sign his life away in a contract to be on that show or something?
He probably did. Probably did.
can't break your oath. Oath breaker.
You promised us fortune cookies.
But
Kingslayer, oath breaker. Coltrane.
Wait, he's Jaime Lannister now?
Yes. Cut off his hand. Spoilers, I guess.
oh, please. If you didn't watch Game of Thrones 3 years ago, then it's not a spoiler. But yeah, so he's effectively he's leaving because he wants something a bit fresh. He hasn't said that he's joining a new podcast or anything like that. I think he wants a break from it to keep the routine fresh.
Yeah.
And that's fair enough. Again, doing it for 4 years, you have a right to take a break.
Yeah, you know, some people that have been doing it that long, they do it as, you know, as their job, like Scott Johnson and stuff. That's what they do. And that's not the case with Coltrane, so... Although he does use that fabulous voice as his job, as his work, so...
Yeah. But the other thing I've noticed as well is that he has been replying to people on Twitter on an almost continuous basis. I mean, he's got like 9,500 followers on Twitter, and it seems like he's thanking every single one individually when they sort of wish him well and whatnot. So, and I think that's absolutely incredible. I've never seen someone sort of reply to that many tweets before. So you are genuinely, if you thank him, you will genuinely get a response in person, and that shows just what sort of a genuinely nice guy he is. And also, he does the sounder for the Epic Geeks podcast. It's a big thanks from us. And yeah, I guess without getting too sentimental, because it's not like he's disappearing into the void. But
Well, he might be.
That might be his next adventure.
It might be. Maybe he was chosen and he's going on some epic quest, and that's why he has to leave.
Maybe. That'd be cool.
He's the hero we deserve.
He's the hero of time.
It would be pretty
He's
cool.
actually Link.
It's not like we expect anything from Coltrane.
I was thinking you were suggesting he was like the Doctor or something like that. He's just going to crawl into a TARDIS. Could be.
Now, just completely off topic real quick. Doctor Who is actually Link, the hero of time.
Huh?
Yes. Okay. So, any other shout-outs, guys?
Hi, Tarley's mum.
Someone else give a shout out to Tarley's mom.
It felt a bit absent from the podcast.
I think I'll just leave it at what's been said.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning into the show. Another good one, as always. You can find our show on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Not this week, but usually. You can also catch us on Twitter at Geeks of Azeroth. You can find me personally at Tarley_pause. That's with a Z. What about you, Zool? Where can we find you?
At ZoolGeek. That also has a Z.
Really? What about you, Britzza? Where can we find you?
You can find me at Britzza_EG, and I have 2 Zs because I'm the best. Woo!
Ha!
Oh yeah, we do all have those. Don't you call those Zeds?
Only on special occasions and Christmas.
Oh, okay. Well, okay then.
You can contact us with messages, questions, concerns about why they only say Zed on Christmas. Send that all to geeksofazerotheg@gmail.com. Remember to check out epicgeeks.co.uk for all the other shows that Epic Geeks does, including a very nerdy one, or geeky one that talks about geekdom or something like that. I don't know. It's a good show. Check that one out, as well as these guys played Minecraft, and it was a really funny series. Check it out. Otherwise, we'll be back same time, same place next week. Have a great week in Azeroth, everybody.
Ta-ta!
Bye.
This podcast is part of the Epic Geeks Network. To find out more about our other gaming podcasts, head to epicgeeks.co.uk.